I'm going to start by logging in at bfw.thecopia.com/back-office. My school admin username is samthomas123, and the password I received is 123456. Click login, and now I'm in the back office. As you can see, we're looking at the users page. In order to create a user account, let's imagine we're not on the users page yet. We're going to click on Manage up here on the top left, and in the drop down click Users. You'll notice on the top right hand side of the screen we see a Create button. That's the button we're going to use to create a single user account. I press Create, a window pops up, and here I can choose a role. I can create a teacher or a student. Let's start by creating a teacher, and we'll call our teacher Mary Teacher. Her email, if I want to include it, can be maryteacher123@mailinator.com, and her username can be anything I want it to be. It needs to be unique within the entire system, so be aware that a username might be unique inside your school environment, but will not be allowed if it is not unique to the entire Copia class system. So for a username, I can use an email address because I know that's definitely going to be unique. If I want to use something shorter like Mary123 or Mary Teacher, I can try that as well. For Mary's password, we'll set up 123456. And here we have two options. We can either send a welcome email, which will allow Mary to change her password as soon as she gets this information, or we can not send a welcome email, and that means the school admin or the teacher is going to distribute the login credentials for the Copia class platform. In this case, we're going to choose to not send an email. We'll click Save, and as you can see at the top, Mary Teacher 123 has been created. Now the user accounts that exist within my school are the Sam Thomas admin account, school admin and teacher, as you can see in the user role column, and Mary Teacher, who is of course our teacher. You can see the school name is Video Demo Academy, and each user has a unique user ID. Now that we know how to create one user at a time, let's go through the process of creating multiple user accounts at once. In order to create multiple user accounts at once, I'm going to click on the Import Users button up here at the top right of my users page. If you're not on the users page, just go up to the top left, click Manage, and in the drop down click Users. Go over here and click the Import Users button, and here you're going to see you have the ability to upload a CSV file. You can make a CSV file with Microsoft Excel or any other spreadsheet creation program. Over here you see an option to preset user passwords with your CSV file. That means you're going to include a password column in your CSV file. You can create unique or common passwords for everyone. And then you have another option, users receive emails with link to set their own passwords. That's similar to the option we saw when we created one user at a time. That will send an email to everyone whose account you've created, and they'll have the ability to set a password at that time. Of course, in order to use that option, you need to have an email put in for each user. If you're going to preset passwords via the CSV, you don't necessarily have to put in an email address. That is optional. I'm going to choose to set the passwords with the CSV file. Pull in my spreadsheet, and as you can see, I'm matching the columns that are here in my example: title, first name, last name, username, email address, role, and password. For title, you can have Mr., Mrs., Doctor, or Professor. It would be MR for Mr., MRS for Mrs., DR for Doctor, or PROF for Professor. For now, I'll use MR for Mr. We'll create a teacher named Jim Harris, and his username is going to be Jim Harris. We'll put in a 123 to make sure it's unique. His email address is jimharris123 at mailinator.com. And of course, if I want to use the email address as the username, I can do that as well. And because I'm setting the passwords myself in the CSV, the email address is not required. Of course, there are some schools that don't hand out email addresses to students, and that's totally fine. It's not necessary to have an email address attached to the account. For the role, it can be either teacher or student. Obviously, Jim is a teacher, and his password is going to be 123456. Now, I'd also like to create some student accounts here. Students do not get a title, so if you are creating a student account, leave the title column blank. We'll create a student named Sarah Palmer. Her username is going to be Sarah Palmer123, and we will make her email address sarahpalmer123 at mailinator.com, and she is a student, and we'll make her password 123456 as well. Now if I want to make a second student, I can do that too. We'll call this student Tom Davis, and we'll continue with our format. His username will be TomDavis123. His email will be TomDavis123 at mailinator.com. He's a student, and we'll stick with the same password. Now I'm going to click Save. And then Save As. We'll see our window pop up here. I'm going to call this Video Demo Accounts. Make sure to save it as a CSV file. Save. And here Excel is going to ask me to continue. It's going to change some of the features by switching to a CSV format. You should be fine, so click continue. I'll move my spreadsheet out of the way. I'm going to click the upload button back in the back office. I will choose my spreadsheet, which we called Video Demo Accounts. Open that, and you'll see at the bottom left here, the file is selected, Video Demo Accounts.csv. Continue. And as you see, 3 students / teachers were successfully created, 0 lines failed processing. If you do have an error report, if you, maybe put in a password that's fewer than 6 characters, 6 characters are required for the password. If you do fewer than 6 characters, you might get an error report. Or if one of the roles is not filled in, or if you are missing a username, missing a first name or a last name, or if you put a title in a student row. In a student row. We're going to click Finish here. Of course, if you want to do another set, you can do that as well. And as you can see, in our list of users, we now have Jim Harris, Sarah Palmer, and Tom Davis. All of our accounts have been created, they've all been accepted, they're all in the same school, and each one has a unique user ID. You've now successfully added user accounts to the system. Now that you have your user accounts set up, you can create a course. To create a course, go to the top left, click Manage, and in the drop-down, click Course Sessions. To create a single course, we're going to use the Create button over here on the right side. A window will pop up, and we'll be able to enter our information. We'll call our course Psychology, and our session name, which is just the section of this course that I teach, is going to be AP Period 1. The term can be any of these terms that are available within the BFW back office. You can choose fall, spring, the full year, summer, or winter. Here we're going to use 2015 through 2016 for the full year. If we want to add an instructor, we can add it here by entering a username. It's not required at this point, but I'm going to add a teacher. I will add Jim Harris 123, and if I want to add a description, I can do that as well. We'll just say AP Psych, click Save, and as you can see, our course was successfully created. Here we have the course details, the name, the session name, the school, the term, our description. We don't have any students yet, but we do have an instructor. Jim Harris was added as an instructor, and we don't have anything in the library yet. If I want to add one member or one instructor at a time, I can do that here. If I want to add a book to my course, I'll do that here in the Library tab. But we're going to take it step by step. Now, if I want to create multiple courses at once, I can do that as well by clicking this Import Sessions button up here at the top right. As you can see, Import Sessions is going to require me to create another CSV file where I'll have the course name for each of my courses, the session name for each session, and the term. Below you'll see a list of all the available terms. I'm going to drag over my Excel spreadsheet, and here we have our 3 columns: course name, session name, and term. Now the course name I want to add, let's say I want to add another psychology course, and I want to call this AP Period 2 because we already had Period 1. And my term is going to be 2015 through 2016. If I forget which terms are available, I'll just move my spreadsheet to the side, and you can see a list of those terms over here: fall 2015, spring 2016, and so on. Move my spreadsheet back in front here, and I'm going to add a couple more courses. Let's add a chemistry course. We'll call it AP Period 3. We're going to use the same term, and I can add a stats course, and we're going to call this AP Period 5. We'll go with 4. And of course I want to use the same term, so I could just copy paste if that makes it a little bit easier. Now I'm going to click Save As. Our window pops up here. I'm going to call this Video Demo Courses. Again, make sure to save it as a CSV file and click Save. Here we'll click Continue. Now I'm going to move my spreadsheet out of the way and click Upload in the back office. I have my Video Demo Courses file up here at the top. Click Open. Bottom left, you'll see that file is now selected. Continue. And we have 3 courses successfully created. We're going to finish here, but of course you can add more if you want. If you get any errors, they'll show up here in the results column. Now we can see that I have 4 courses. I have my second psych course, I have a chemistry course, and a stats course. Again, all are in the same school, all with the same term, and only my first course has an instructor. So now I want to add users to my courses. In order to add users to your courses, you can either do it one at a time. We'll start with our Psych AP Period 1 course. I'll click on View Edit Details next to that course. If I want to add a member is a student. Those terms are interchangeable here. I'm going to choose a student. And remember, we had our student Sarah Palmer. So I'm going to write Sarah Palmer 123. That's her username. Add to class session, and you'll see now Sarah has been added to this course. If I want to remove Sarah, I'll just click the Remove button next to her name, and it'll ask me if I want to do that. I'll click Yes, and now she's been removed from the course. Now I want to add an instructor, so I'm going to click over onto the Instructor tab. We already have Jim Harris in there as a teacher, but I want to add myself as an instructor of this course as well. So we'll put in Sam Thomas 123, and we'll add that teacher account, and now you see we have 2 instructors for this course. In order to add multiple users to one course or multiple users to multiple courses, I can use the Import Enrollments button over here on the right side of the page. Again, if you're not on the course sessions list, just go to the top left, click Manage, Course Sessions, and it will bring you to this page. And up here on the top right, we have Import Enrollments. As you can see, we're going to build another CSV file where we have a column for course name, session name, term, username, role, and status. And we have a brief explanation of all these terms right underneath. Course name, as we've seen already, is the name of the course. Session name is the name of that specific section that I'm creating. Then we have the term from the list of available terms. And we have our usernames for our students and teachers, role to define who's teacher, who's student, and of course status. If you put active as the status, that will add the student or teacher to the course. If you would like to remove someone from a course, you'll just put in inactive. For now, since you're onboarding, most likely everyone is going to be active status. I'll bring my spreadsheet over here, and we have our course name. So we have our psychology, and we had AP period 2. The term for all of our courses was 2015-2016, and the username we want to add is jharris123. That's a teacher role, and the status is active. And I'd like to add this teacher to multiple courses, so I'm going to paste that information, the last 3 columns, to the next 2 lines. I'd like to add Jim Harris to our chemistry course and also to our statistics course. We had AP period 3 for chemistry, AP period 4 for statistics, and the same term for all of those courses. Now I'm going to click Save As. I'm going to save this as Video Demo Enrollments, and of course save it as a CSV file, and I'll click Save. It'll ask me to continue. I'll click Continue. Now if I want to add students as well, I can add students on this same spreadsheet. So we have our student Sarah Palmer. We'll add her to these courses as well. And her status is active. Now we're going to add her to the same 3 courses, so we can just copy and paste here. But of course, if you want to add her to different courses, as long as the courses already exist, you can do that all in the same spreadsheet. I'm going to save again. Click Continue. Now I'll move my spreadsheet out of the way. Go back to the back office, click Upload, find my spreadsheet up here, Video Demo Enrollments, click Open. And as you can see, our selected file, videodemoenrollments.csv. I'll click Continue. And we have 3 users successfully enrolled to the course and 3 lines failed. Why did they fail? jharris123, the user, is not found. So here we have an example of an error message telling exactly what we need to fix in order to make this enrollment work properly. So what we're going to do is go back to our spreadsheet and fix it so that the enrollment will work properly. I'm going to drag my spreadsheet up here, and in order to show what our mistake was, I'm going to go back to my video demo account spreadsheet. As you can see, the username for Jim Harris is not J Harris, it's actually Jim Harris 123. So I'm going to go over to my video demo enrollments and adjust my spreadsheet. I'll create Jim Harris 123 as my username, paste it in the other two columns, save, continue, move my spreadsheet out of the way, and now I'm going to upload another file. And you're going to notice something about this enrollment as well. You're going to see 3 successful lines and 3 failures. Lines 4, 5, and 6, we know that Sarah Palmer was already enrolled from that first upload, so it's not going to enroll her again with the second one. So now we have 3 successful enrollments. Those are all the Jim Harris 123 enrollments. And of course, Sarah Palmer was not uploaded a second time. So we're going to click Finish here. We're going to go back to our courses. We'll click on Psychology Period 2, and as you can see, Sarah Palmer has been added, Jim Harris has been added, and our rosters for these courses are now complete. Now, in order to add a book to your course, you're going to need to access your list of course sessions. If you're not there already, click on Manage at the top left, and then Course Sessions/Classes. That will take us to our list of courses, and here we're going to add a book to Psychology AP Period 1. We'll click on the View Edit Details button, and then we're going to go up to the Library tab. Our Library tab has no books listed in it. We're going to add one. We're going to search Psychology to find the book that we want to add. Let's add the Myers Psychology for AP 2nd edition here. Notice the book ID column is unique for each book. It's separate from the ISBN. The book ID is the number that we use to find the specific book in our back office. If I click a book, it's going to give me a check mark next to purchase this book for all present and future members and instructors. That's called auto purchase. That's going to make sure that every time someone is added to the course, they receive a copy of that book. And every time someone leaves the course, they will lose the copy of that book. Click Add Book. It's going to ask us to confirm our choice. We'll click Add. And as you can see, our library now has the Myers Psychology book, and it says it's on auto purchase, which is great. Now every person in this course is going to have a copy of this book in their account. If I want to add a teacher edition as well, I can go back to Add Book. I'll type in Psychology again. And if I scroll down, I can find the Myers Psychology for AP 2nd edition, Teacher's Edition, right here. And you'll see I get a checkbox next to purchase this book for all present and future course instructors. So this is going to do the same thing as we had with the student edition. It'll put it on auto purchase. Everyone who joins the course will automatically get a copy. Everyone who leaves will lose that copy. But of course the teacher's edition is only going to show up for instructors. I'm now going to confirm my choice by clicking Add, and you'll see the teacher edition show up inside my library as well. Now, in order to check my user accounts and make sure they receive their copy of the book, I can go back to my list of users. I'll click on Manage in the top left, click Users, and then I can click on the View Edit Details button next to one of my user accounts. I'm going to check to make sure that Jim Harris has the psychology book I just added to his account. And here I'm going to click on the Books tab. And as you can see, in Jim's account are the Myers Psychology for AP 2nd edition, Student edition, and Teacher's edition. If we click on the Courses tab, we can see that Jim is enrolled in the 4 courses to which we added him. And now we have completed the process. We've created user accounts, created courses, and enrolled our users in those courses, and we've also purchased the books for our courses and distributed them to the users. You've now completed the onboarding process for edaptext.